Agriculture. What is agriculture? Agriculture is a word which is derived from a Latin language that is ager or agri and culture. So agri means here soil and culture means cultivation. So according to the Latin language, the word agriculture means soil cultivation. In our chapter, we will be discussing what is agriculture, in which category of the sectors does agriculture fall into. In order to make a plant to grow and reach to the full useful resource, it has to pass through various sectors. So when we plant a sibling, that has to grow, that has to produce something, that has to be collected, and then that has to be distributed in the market and then sold in the market. For all these things, it has to cross through different sectors like primary, secondary, third one tertiary sector or service sector. In the primary sector, the basic things like quarrying, farming, cultivation, then quarrying of the stones, drilling of the oil, all these things, mining, come under primary activities. Where the basic activity of anything starts, let it take the raw materials used or taking the raw materials into the purpose. So all these things come under the primary sector. So once the activities are done in the primary sector, then you get a product which is not in the complete form. It has to be modified, it has to be made. So when we get the raw iron, that has to be made into the shape which we need. For this, we need a factory, we need a manufacturing unit. These manufacturing units come under the category of the secondary sector. So now, from primary, after producing something, you get it manufactured in the manufacturing unit. So everything is being finalized and now it has to be sold. So in order to transport the product from the crop region to the factory point, from the factory point to the outlet point, from the outlet point to the nearest stores. So everything we need transportation, we need the trade, we need the business contacts between them. So all these things are actually coming under service sector or the tertiary sector. Hospitality, business, banking, everything comes under the service sector. Service sector is nothing but acting as a link between the primary and the secondary sector. It supports the primary and the secondary sector to give its full potential. This support given to the primary and secondary sector is known as service sector. So like this, we have three important sectors. A plant, to grow it into a full useful resource, it needs to pass through certain stages. Those are the primary, secondary and the tertiary sector. So in this chapter now we will be discussing how did agriculture fall into the primary sector, what is the role of the agriculture, we will be finding out now. Agriculture in the entire world, there are nearly 50% of people depending on agriculture. Agriculture comes under the category of primary sector, where the basic work will be started. So now moving on to understand how this agriculture plays an important role in India, because in India we have nearly 2/3 of people depending on agriculture. Nearly 70% of people depend on agriculture. These 70% of people are depending on the primary sector. When we talk about the primary sector, we need to remember that here in the primary sector, the people, those who are depending on this sector, are having highly unstable income. The income which is not guaranteed for them. Why do we say that the income in the primary sector is not guaranteed? Because in the agricultural sector, agriculture truly depends on the climate of a place and the land. India has a very vast availability of land. But when it comes to the availability of water, 50% of Indian farmers, even today, depend on agriculture, the rainwater. So rainwater is the main source for them to start their crops growing, to start the crop season. Now, as the time passed on, the monsoon started to play a very vital role on the lives of the farmers. We generally see farmers committing suicides when there is no proper monsoon rainfall occurring in the month of June. That results in the failure of the crops or delay in the crop season, which ultimately forces the farmers to commit suicide. So here, if the rains come in time and it creates a good reap, the crop will give more benefit for us. But if the rains are not proper, they could not get you good results, the crop was not ripen up properly, you don't get any income, so you will be in loss. So the investment what you kept on the soil will become waste. That is the reason why many of the farmers commit suicide. So that's why we are saying that the agriculture, as it falls in the primary sector, it is having very unstable nature. The income is not at all guaranteed in this primary sector, especially agriculture, which we have seen in our country from the past 6 decades. Now moving on further, agriculture needs the support of land and water. So these two combinedly we can call climate and topography. The climate and the topography of a region should support the farmers to do the agriculture. The fertility of the soil should be good, the availability of the water should be there. Then only you can do good agriculture. So the conditions which are favoring a farmer or the land to do cultivation is called arable land. The land which supports to do agriculture is known as arable land. The spelling is A-R-A-B-L-E, arable land. Which do not support the agriculture are known as waste lands.